So welcome to today's class. It's going to be a gentle flow, so maybe have some blocks and props and maybe even a bolster handy if that is good for you. Remember, honor all of your injuries, listen to what you need, take it easy and enjoy the flow today. So when we're ready, let's lay all the way down on our backs into Shavasana. Now again, you can also slide your bolster underneath the knees, you can bend the knees, you can knock your knees, you can be really comfortable. You can have hands on the body, hands away from the body, but the main aim now is to be as comfortable as possible. And when you're ready, closing down the eyes, softening the face, releasing the jaw, releasing the shoulders, easing into the lower back and in towards our hips and down and towards our legs. So arriving on the mat, we just notice how we are feeling. And that's not just how the body is, that's how the mind is, it's how the emotions are. And seeing if there's some things that we could possibly shift. Then once you've moved from there, let's move to our breath, the anchor to the present moment. The one thing that keeps us alive is that breath. So noticing the inhales, noticing the exhales, maybe breathing in and out through the nose or breathing as best as you can. And those of you that are maybe familiar with Ujjayi breath, you could start to think about cultivating that breath at some point through our practice today. But I wish you a beautiful practice today. Honor your bodies, listen to what it needs. And when you're ready, I want you to move the head from side to side, just releasing through the neck. In towards your shoulders, moving the shoulders, really grounding them down in towards your mat. In towards the back ribs, into the hips. Again, nice little shifts, little moves. And then maybe if you feel ready and you've got a bolster, just moving that out of the way. Taking that full body stretch. Maybe a yawn, maybe a point of flex of the feet and a wiggle a little bit more of those hips. Hugging your knees in towards your chest and lifting up the nose to meet the knees into a ball shape. And we'll lower the head back down. We'll do this a few more times, lifting the nose up towards the knees, exhaling, letting it go. Again, lifting up. And down. So maybe this is the inhale to lift up and the exhale down. Let's do two more. Gently lifting up and down. Last one, gently lifting up and down. My favorite move, just stretching the legs up. Give those hamstrings a little rub, a little ease in the back of the knees. Roll out your ankles. Don't forget to change the directions. And hugging your knees back in towards your chest. I want you to rock and roll forwards and backwards, or even roll to a side with me. And bringing yourself straight in towards a seat. So this seat could be sitting cross-legged, it could be in a butterfly pose, it could be however you want it to be. Taking your hands to your knees, let's invite the big Sufi roll circles and let the head go. Let the body move. Allow everything just to flow. Don't forget to change the direction. Good. Coming back to neutral, let's have a little pad and a walk forward. Very small. Again, it's all about that lower back and slight opening through your hips. And a gentle walk back. Switch over legs. Let's invite our side stretches, so lateral bends just from side to side. Now, if the arm is too heavy, you do not have to use it. You could just move from side to side, just like this. But of course, the arm could always come into play. One more each side. And let's come towards our shoulders. So first of all, taking the arms out to the side, raise the arms up on the inhale. On the exhale, it's a capital E or a cactus, drawing the elbows into the side body. Release, inhale to lift. So it's drawing them in with some resistance as you shine the heart forwards. Again, inhaling. Exhaling. Again. Let's do two more. Inhale. Last one. Good, big circles with those arms. Big movements. Nice and crunchy and crackly. Don't forget to change the direction. And then when you're ready, you're going to give yourself a beautiful big hug. Little move side to side. Big circles if that feels good. Change over the other arm on the top. Wonderful. And then gently release. So let's make our way into 4-point kneeling into tabletop. So making your way into tabletop, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and knees hip distance apart. I want you to tuck the toes. So making sure that we get a nice stretch through there. We're gonna have a little bit circular movements around the wrists, back in towards the feet, maybe in towards the rib cage. Intuitive flow, I like to call it. So lovely movements around, maybe forward, back, round, opposite way. Couple more moves. Good. And let's move this through a cat-cow. So keeping those toes tucked, you arch the back, lower the belly, shine the heart forward, inhale. And then release in the opposite direction, finding cat. Inhale through to cow. Exhale back and up through cat. Again, inhaling forwards. And exhaling. Wonderful. Again, inhaling forwards. Exhaling. Last one. Good. Gently bringing those knees together, feet together. Of course, you can sit on a block or a prop, but you can walk your hands back towards your knees, sitting back on towards the heels. Now you have the option to stay here with me, or you could come up, sitting up onto the toes, so stretching through your feet. So again, this is going to promote that energy flowing, the prana flowing. And again, remember, you can always stay down, but we're going to be a couple more breaths here. I always notice when I'm in the toe sit how my heels splay, so maybe drawing the heels closer together, activating through those legs. One more breath. Go gently moving forward, just give those feet a little drum out. Again, you can still sit on a prop or a block, but sitting back onto the heels, but then this time it's stretching the feet. Of course, you can keep the hands as they are. You don't need to do any more. But if you're with me, let's take the right arm forwards, wrapping the left underneath through our eagle. Now, of course, you can be here. It's still early. It's very small eagles. You can do lovely big circles here as well through our body. Good, gently release and up. Let's do the other side. If you're down here, you can still do the circles. You don't have to do the arm. Always taking the option that's best for you. Couple more. Good, gently release. Let's make our way back into 4-point kneeling. Again, working just a little bit more on those shoulders, raising that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, threading the needle, but we're going to rest the cheek, the shoulder, the arm all the way down. Bringing the left hand onto the right wrist. Imagine you're pulling that wrist away from you and you're rotating the chest up towards the ceiling. So some resistance here. Lovely. Gently coming up and back to your 4-point kneeling. Let's do the opposite side. Raising that left arm when you're ready and threading and reaching down. Right arm taking left and having that beautiful pull and that little bit of resistance as you're bringing your chest up towards the ceiling. Good. Gently easing and coming back to our tabletop. And we're going to bring the big toes together, the knees nice and wide, and push back into your child's pose. And when you come into your child's pose, I want you to rub the forehead from side to side as we release the third eye or any tension you may have in the brows. Good. Walking your arms all the way over to the right side of the mat. Keep going until you feel some side flexion or a stretch through the side body. And we'll be resting here for the moment. And then lifting up and over to the opposite side. And coming back to neutral, looking forwards, we're going to scoop our way through and onto our bellies, into our first Sphinx or baby cobra. And again, inviting some move from side to side, waking up the back. Don't forget to squeeze the glutes and activate through the back of the legs as well. Sphinx is great, or even maybe coming through into little cobra lifts and down. I like to do something called cobra circles, so you can lift up and around and down. This can be done in Sphinx, just the same. But don't forget to go in the opposite direction. Good. And then we're going to come back down onto our bellies. So resting the forehead onto the arms. Still squeezing your glutes, still squeezing and activating through the inner thighs and the legs. We're going to lift your right leg, squeeze and lift and lower down. Opposite side, squeeze and lift and lower down. Right leg lifts, lowers down. Left leg lifts, lowers down. Again, right and down. Left and down. Let's do one more each side. Right and down. Left and down. Perfect. Bringing your arms underneath you, pushing back and through up to back and up through to tabletop to downward facing dog. So no child's pose just yet. And when you get to down dog, I want you to notice how the spine feels. Try and create the length through the back. Length through the back of the legs as we pedal and move everything out. Good. And when we come into downward facing dog, let's find a little bit of stillness here as we hang the head. Shake a yes and no. I want you to lift up onto the balls of the feet on the next inhale, rising up. Exhale, lowering the heels to wherever they meet. Again, lifting up on the inhale and lowering on the exhale. Again. And lower. 3 more. Good on the lift and lower. 2 more. Lifting and lowering. Last one. Lifting and lowering. Fantastic. Let's make our way back through tabletop. Wonderful. When we get into our tabletop, let's work in towards our hips a little more. So a little bit of my favorite hip cranks, hip movements, big circular movements as best as you can get. Don't forget to change the direction. And remember, props are really useful here. I've just slid mine underneath my hands. Good. Stepping that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Leaning into your first lunge, maybe taking your props. And I want you to tuck the toes of the back leg. Okay, shining the chest forward. We're just going to hold it here for the moment. And then when you're ready, you're going to engage that back knee, straightening it, and then bringing it back down. Again, lifting and lowering. Let's do this a few more times. So what I'm wanting you to do is activate that back leg, back quad, back hip flexor. So we start to encourage more movement through that lower part of our body. One more. Beautiful. Gently push back into that half monkey, but I want you to have a little wiggle in the hips, little ease through that front leg. Good. Rebend back into lunge. You're going to turn your left leg as you slide your right leg, so a seamless movement in towards our side plank, lifting up. So nice little bit of a move. Good. One more breath here. Gently bringing everything back, but that right leg stays behind you as you pivot through. Good. Maybe moving your blocks away. Raise that right leg up, inhale. Maybe raise the opposite arm out in front of you, holding it here through for the balance. We're going to do some little tick-tocks. So out to the side and back. Out to the side and back. Good. Out to the side and back. Out to the side and back. 4 more. 4, 3. Now remember, this doesn't have to have the arm. 3, and nothing has to be high. 2, 1. Gently release back down, and we're going to reset to the other side. So hip cranks with your left leg, big hip movements. Good. Change the direction. And then step that foot lightly to the outside of the hand. Tuck the toes of the back leg. Sink forward and down, but don't let the knee overshoot the ankle. Breathing here. And when you're ready, engaging that back leg, lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. A few more. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Again, lifting and lowering. Last one. Push back for that little half monkey, little ease, little release. So that seamless transition to side plank. Don't worry if it feels clunky. So you could slide the leg as that right knee pivots, and then we lift up, inviting that opening through your side body. Coming back down, back to neutral, maybe moving the props aside, lifting that back leg, which is my left leg. Now don't sink, don't clunk, lift up as much as you can. Option to raise the opposite arm at any time. I'm going to invite those little tick-tocks. So when you're ready, moving from side to side. So encouraging the core to be a little stronger. Really having to focus on balance if you are using both arm and leg. Couple more. Wonderful. Come back to rest. Amazing. Beautiful. Tucking your toes back through and up, downward facing dog. Lovely. And I want you to walk your feet towards your hands. And when you get here, I'd like you to hang in a ragdoll, inviting the head to hang, decompression through the spine, release through the back of the legs. So don't forget to soften those knees. Good. When you're ready, releasing in the arms, rolling up through very slowly. Last thing to come up will be your head. Lovely. Coming towards the top of your mat when you are ready. Have those props handy if you need them. Good. Okay. So really, when you're ready, grounded through the feet, raising the arms up towards the ceiling. Take a hold of the right wrist, lift up, and let's take a side bend over towards the left. Now you can, of course, take the left leg over the right and encourage a lovely side stretch here if that feels good. Good, gently coming back to neutral. Switch sides, up and over, switch wrists. And if you use the leg again on the other side, so opposite leg. Lovely. Coming back to neutral. Keep the arms lifted, but I want you to circle them back behind you as you roll down through the body, down towards the mat. Option to use a prop underneath the hand. Left hand stays on the floor, right arm lifts up towards the ceiling. Good. I invite you to bend a little deeper in towards the legs as you step back with your left foot. Drop the knee, so it's a twisted lunge. Good. Back knee is down. Toes can be tucked, they can be released. Push off on that underneath hand, but you're going to keep the twisted lunge. Holding it here, so lift up with the hands. That's it. Keep where you are. One more breath. Bring the hands towards your heart centers, but keep the twist. Lovely. Gently come back to neutral. Bringing the hands down to the floor. Engage the back leg, tucking those toes to lift off. Ground through the back heel. Raise the arms, lift off, warrior one, sink a little deeper. Circle those arms back behind you. Left forearm in front of you. Right wraps underneath, or maybe the palms come to meet in towards your eagle and into your warrior one. Sinking that little bit deeper. Unwrap, release, circle all the way down. Step back into your first plank of the day. Keep lifting up through the body, protraction through the shoulders. Option to lower the knees, hold it here. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Good. Taking your right leg, lifting it up towards the ceiling. And then crossing it behind the left. Maybe the toes come to the floor, maybe not. So cross-legged down dog. We're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet and then lower back down. Again, lifting up and lowering back down. 2 more. Lifting up, lowering down, lifting up, lowering down. Come back to a neutral down dog. Soften the knees. Walk the feet towards the hands and hang in your ragdoll. And when you're ready, roll up through the body, making your way back to stand. Good. Raising the arms up, take a hold of the right wrist, side bend over towards the left, maybe crossing that left leg over. Again, encouraging that side stretch. Up and over, switching sides, switching wrists, then taking your side bend. Coming back to neutral, circling the arms, and then rolling all the way down towards the floor. Good. Right arm stays on the floor or on a block, raising the left arm for that twist. Soften a little bit more into the knees as you step the right foot back, and then lower the knee, finding that lunge. You've got this. Push off with that hand, lift off into a twisted lunge, arms shoulder level. Bring the palms together into heart centers. And come back to your neutral. Bringing the arms down to frame the foot, step back in towards your first, your second plank pose, should I say. Protraction through your shoulder blades, engagement through the core. Lift up and back, downward facing dog. Raising your left leg up towards the ceiling and then crossing it behind the right, so cross-legged down dog. Rising up on the balls of the feet and then lowering down. Again, lifting up and down. Again, up and down, up. Let's do 2 more. Lift off. And this is our last one. Good. Bring the feet back to neutral. Let's shift forward to plank pose. Option to lower your knees. And very slowly descending down to our mat. So maybe through a chaturanga, maybe it's however you get there. Good. And when we do get here, I'd like you to stretch the arms out in front of you. Palms can face each other or down, it does not matter. Engage through the legs, squeeze through the glutes, keep everything nice. So just like the warm-up, we're going to raise the right leg. Keep the head down and come down, opposite side. Left leg, right arm, lift and release, opposite side, up and down. So maybe finding the inhalation and the exhalation. Again, opposite sides and down, up and down. 2 more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. Beautiful. Gently bringing the arms back underneath you. Let's push up to our next cobra, or a little higher if that feels good. Opening up through the heart. And then gently releasing back down. Through and up back to tabletop. Take a moment in your tabletop. Let's just do a few cat-cows before we push back in towards our child's pose. Bringing the big toes together, the knees wide, or maybe it's the opposite way for you, resting in that child's pose. So just that lot of work that we did on our backs, in towards this nurturing position. Now remember, child's pose is not for everybody. There might be a lot of tightness in the hips, the lower backs. So even coming forward just like I am now, resting here is perfectly fine. So everybody has a different shape, but as long as you are comfortable, that's all that matters. And if you'd like to spice up your child's pose a little bit more, you could always bring the palms of the hands together and then take the arms over the head. So we're stretching through the triceps, shoulders. It's a real feel good in my arms today. One more breath. Gently come back and through and up towards tabletop, up towards downward facing dog. Your left leg is going to lift up towards the ceiling and bring it through the gates of the arms. Lower the back heel. Lift off warrior one on that second side. Right arm in front of you. Left wraps round, or you find your eagle variation for you. Holding it here. So really strong through that back leg. Knee over the ankle. Make sure the arms aren't sagging here, that we're lifting them up as much as we can. 2 more breaths. Wonderful. Release the arms, take the hands to the hips, straighten the front leg, but turning the toes to the long side of the mat, maybe shorten the stance a little, and then I want you to turn the heels in. Bending your knees, thinking you're in a glass pane, and then coming back up. So again, just preparation for our little goddess move. So bending and lifting. Bending and lifting. Last one. Bend and hold your goddess. Knees tracking over the toes, so don't let them roll. Let's take the right forearm in front of us. Left wraps round, we find our eagle. Okay, options to stay here with me or give this a go with these little eagle upper body circles. You really got to concentrate on not letting the knees drop or lose your balance. Come back to neutral. Unwrap, rewrap other side. And let's go with circles opposite direction. Good. Gently come back to neutral. Let's straighten up. Release. Turning the toes inward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, come through to tabletop. And then release all the way down into your wide-legged forward fold. Now, do not forget, you can use your bricks here or whatever you have available. Allow the head to hang. Or you could shift your weight forward and backward between the heels and the toes to encourage more length through the back of the legs. But just taking your time. Two more breaths. Good. Let's come into a twisted wide-legged forward fold. So I've got blocks underneath me. Got my right hand on the block, raising my left arm up. Okay, so when you twist, don't let the hips go as well. Try and keep the hips square and try and have the upper body having the rotation. Okay, nice and interesting. Soften the knees, push off with that underneath the hand, lift up into a twisted sort of 5-star. Hold it here. Come back to neutral, arms are out. Twist to the opposite direction, don't let the hips go with you. And then soften the knees and come down into that twisted wide-legged forward fold the opposite way. Good, let's try that transition again. So up through, twisting towards your right side. Coming to neutral, over to the opposite side. Watch those hips. And then coming on down, twisting to that opposite side. Beautiful. Gently bringing everything back to neutral. Let's turn those toes out, let's bend the knees, and let's have little rocks from side to side. Really useful having blocks. Now, if your knees are not feeling too happy today, remember we can have our movements here. If you want to, of course, we can start to move a little lower, but again, this is choice. Wonderful. And when you're ready, walking yourself back to your neutral or your center, turning your toes in and then rolling up through our bodies. Good, so internal, external rotation, so heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in, watch your props, and then shake it all about. Amazing. So being really nice and strong in that center of your mat, let's work in towards a little bit more of a loading position. So make sure you're happy with your legs, bend your knees, sit low, find your imaginary chair. Watch your knees don't splay, make sure the knees don't go over the toes either, but you're sitting in a very comfortable seat. Good, let's take the arms forward and then out and down. Forward, out, down, forward, out. Here we go. Twist towards your right, but don't let the hips go. Back to neutral, down, forward. You're going to go out to the side and twist. Don't let the hips go. Back, out, down. Sit a little lower, find full chair. So again, watch rib cage, watch bottoms, bring everything in. Circle the arms. Right, left wraps, we find our eagle position. Options to stay with me, options to lift your left, maybe cross the foot over, maybe find a full eagle if that feels good, but you do not have to. Good. Unwrap, release, stand tall. Take a second. Okay. Sit back into that imaginary chair. Arms forward. Out, down, forward, out, down, again, forward, out, down. Here comes the fun. Forward, out to the right for the twist. Back to center, out, down. Again, opposite side, twist. Bring it back, out, down. Full chair, sit a little lower. Circling the arms, maybe the other arm left and right. Options to stay here, options to bend that right, options to cross over, or options to find your full eagle, or stay with me. Gently release, release, shake it out. Amazing, everybody. Coming back towards your top of your mat if you aren't already there, and give it a little shake. Nice little bit of load on our legs. So I'm feeling that we've done our shoulders, we've done our backs, we do a little bit of hips now. We've definitely done some loading through that lower body as well. Let's roll down through our bodies. And let's step back to our downward facing dog. And let's give it a little shake, a little ease out here. Good. Left leg, lifting it up towards the ceiling and then bringing the shin to the top of your mat towards your wrists, sliding that back leg back, making your way into our pigeon. Now remember, you can use your blocks here. So I like to have one under my quad, one underneath my bottom. You can always use your bolster here as well. The aim is to have your hips square. Now if there's any pressures in your knees, you can always come in towards your deer posture, which is where I'm going to be right now. And we'll come down and we will rest here in our pigeon pose. So allowing breath in, breath out. Couple more breaths. Ease through your body. Good, gently rolling up. If you got any blocks or props or anything like that, I'd like you to push back into downward facing dog when you can. So maybe it's shifting yourself, maybe it's tabletop, maybe it is down dog. Lovely. And when you're ready, let's go on the opposite side. So may that be pigeon, may that be deer pose like me. Use your props where you can. And then slowly, slowly coming down to rest here. Breathing in, allowing yourself to ease. Good. Very gently coming up and then moving back to your down dog or your tabletop. So working into the next part, which we did a little bit in the warm-up, a little bit through our middle section as well. Left leg lifting up and then bringing it through the gates of the arms. Lower your back knee. Bring the left arm to join the right arm, so bringing the arms over. I've got props here. Now I like to engage my back knee, slide my back foot away from me a little bit more. You can of course use a bolster underneath the knee or the quad here to support. I've got my props handy. I'm going to sink forward and down. I'm going to release my toes here as well. Of course, you've got your props. They have many heights. And we're going to come down to rest in our lizard pose here. Again, softening. Now, try not let the one hip sink. Try and keep your hips as square as you can. Try and keep length where you can as well. Don't surrender fully yet. Invite a little bit of activity first before you allow yourself to soften fully. Again, finding some comfort within the stretch. Very gently coming up, sliding your hips back just as a little counter stretch. You can have a little bit of movement, a little bit of a shake. Good. And then gently sliding that front foot back to join the left and maybe making your way into either tabletop or downward facing dog. So right leg is going to lift. And we're going to step it through the gates of the arms, however it gets there. And then bringing the back knee down to rest. Right arm to join the left. I've got my back toes tucked, so lifting up, maybe sliding that back heel back a little more. Of course, you can walk that front foot out a little bit more if you want to. For me, this side is a little bit tighter, so I'll be staying upright for now, and then once the comfort starts to come in, I will start to lower myself down very gently. Now, it's okay being a little uneven on our sides. It's just being aware of it and how you can help your body, where you can work and get it back to being equal. Again, embracing the stretch, embracing the emotions that might come out, especially in this deep, deep stretch. Good. Gently coming up and out of it, pushing back into your variation of that little half monkey. Good. Gently release back. Bring your big toes together. Let's push back in towards your child's pose. Just have a little bit of a neutralizer here. Good. And slowly coming on up. And then let's find our bottoms, everybody. Stretching your legs out in front of you, giving yourself just that little bit of an ease. Good. So of course we can use our straps if you need to. If not, sitting right on top of those sit bones, really nice and tall. And again, lengthening all the way up. I do invite you to place a block between the thighs so you can activate through the legs, flexing through the feet. Arms can be beside you, on you, I don't mind. Just being nice, tall in our staff pose or dandasana. Couple more breaths. One more breath. Maybe taking that block from in between the thighs, raising it up if you are using it. Reaching forward, coming in towards our deep forward fold. Again, straps are really useful here. Try and not round. Try and find a little length. Soften the knees if there's any pain within the back. Or maybe don't do the pose if that's too much. And then when you're ready, again, soften. And then gently come up. Okay. So very, very gently, we're going to ease ourselves down in towards or onto our backs. Rolling down. Hugging your knees in towards your chest and just gently moving from side to side. Good. Keeping your hands on your knees, separate your knees and just circle outwards. Nice, gentle movements. Don't forget to change your direction. Lovely. Placing the soles of the feet back down on the mat. Cross the right ankle over the left, open out the knee. Now you have the options to stay here or thread the needle and take the arms around the opposite leg. Now you can stay as you are or you can release the leg, but keep the legs as they are, and the arms can come out to shoulder level. Dropping the leg over to the left side. Now try and have the knee and the hip at 90 degrees. Try and keep the right knee up towards the ceiling. You can pull that leg in a little bit more. Taking your left hand and opening it out here. Now for me, I do feel this in my hips, I do feel it in my lower back. Some people don't feel much. So the more that you can lift your legs up towards you, maybe the more intense it might feel. Gently coming on back and then easing it out. Let's go on the other side. So bending your left knee, crossing it over the top of the right. Options to stay here or bend in a little bit more. And again, finding your variation of thread. Gently releasing, maybe taking those arms out to shoulder level and then dropping the knees over to the opposite side. Bending everything in a little bit more. I'm going to use my right hand to push that leg away from me. And it's almost like twisting your body up towards the ceiling. Gently come back and then drawing your knees in towards your chest. Having that little rock from side to side. Good, I'd like you to make your way into Happy Baby. And when you do come into Happy Baby, pulling down on the feet or ankles or whatever you've grabbed, or maybe even using your strap here. Encouraging that tailbone to come down toward the mat as well. Little moves from side to side. Bringing the feet together, maybe the hands interlace or not. We'll come into type of butterfly in a way. Good. Gently closing those knees together one more time. Lifting the nose up towards the knee and down. Again, lifting up and down. Two more, lifting up and down. Last one. Good. Gently release, take a full body stretch. Little ease in that lower body. And I want you to find some comfort here. So before you find that comfort, quickly think, what do I need? Do I need a quick twist? Do I need my bolster? What do I need? Because we're going to do a little bit of breath work. So I've done a little windscreen wipe in my legs. And then I'm going to slide my bolster underneath my knees. And then I'm going to come to rest on my back. And when you get down here, moving the head from side to side, releasing in the shoulders, releasing through the body. I'd like you to place your hands on your lower belly, just below your navel. Maybe the fingertips touch, so into sort of a mudra per se, so you can bring the thumbs to touch and the index fingers to touch, but like yoni mudra. And what I want you to do is breathe fully through the nose, fill the belly, and then exhale, let it go. Inhaling fully. Exhaling, letting it go. Let's add a count. We're going to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 4. So breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving the hands to the lower rib cage. Again, connecting back with the inhales, noticing the expansion and the release and the expel of air. And when you're ready, let's add a count to this breath. When you're ready, we will inhale for 4, for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go. Crossing the hands maybe over the collarbones, wherever it feels most comfortable. Breathing up to the top lobes of the lungs. And letting it go. Again. And we'll add a count for when you're ready. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Let go of this breath. Let your body just rest and allow the natural breath to return. Softening, relaxing, releasing. Just taking stock of what we've done today. So an all body release, stretch, maybe strengthen. Now you have the options to stay exactly as you are, or you could bring some life to fingers and toes if that feels good for you. You could always roll to a side if you want to. Or if you would like to, you are more than welcome to push up to a seat with me. Wherever you are finishing, back, side, seat. Just mentally and physically coming back into the present moment after that little rest. Checking in and noticing how you're feeling. Maybe drawing hands to heart centers, bowing your heads, thanking your bodies. And I thank you for letting me be your guide through this gentle flow today. Namaste.